Ohio State spring game reminded everyone that Kenyatta Jackson Jr. might be one of the Buckeyes' biggest difference makers this fall.
You are Locked On Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I am Jay Stevens. During today's show, we will discuss how Beau Atkinson can build upon the progress he made during spring ball, as well as what Chris Henry Jr. showed us during the spring game. But first, all eyes are on number 2 on defense because this is the year that Kenyatta Jackson Jr. should shine. He is the leader in the D-line room. He's the edge rusher everybody is looking to get pressure over and over and over again. And when you have that pressure and you have all the eyeballs, people want to give the eyeballs to someone that they know they can rely on, that they know will step up to the plate and knock it out of the park. And when Kenyatta Jackson Jr. stepped on the field in the spring game, he wanted to just give you a little bit of an appetizer, tease you a little bit, give you something to chew on, something that will hold you over into the fall. Now, some of y'all don't want to wait till the fall to watch more Buckeye football. I am one of them. But when you look at what he did during the spring game, and the spring game literally being the appetizer for the main course, which is a regular season, you have to be pleased. You have to be excited about what's to come for K-Jack. And we're going to roll with the nickname K-Jack throughout the rest of the year because I don't know why it took me till year 5 for this young man to start giving him the nickname that's right in front of my face every time I see his name on a computer screen. K-Jack was out there doing his thing. He had back-to-back sacks in the spring game. And it wasn't just the back-to-back sacks. It was the ease with which he got to the backfield. It was how quickly and how many moves and just his growth and development. And he was just doing the things he was supposed to do. Not only get sacks, but take advantage of a guy who's not going to start. Carter Lowe is expected to be good down the road. He is not expected to play this year. Now, if he plays, it'll be in backup, as a backup, more of in mop-up duty, not as a starter. And so, well, you know you're going up against a backup, and you know that it's probably going to be a pass because the offense doesn't have 4 of their top backs in the room. My goodness, man. Put your ears back and let's go. Put your hand in the dirt and get after the quarterback. That's your job, and that's what he did. And the thing about Kenyatta Jackson Jr. this year and the pressure that he may be feeling right now, but he knows he's the guy. He knows this is his time. And all throughout spring ball, his leadership has been very, very clear. Larry Johnson has been looking at him to step up the ways, not just one singular way, but the ways that Matt Patricia is going to put K-Jack in scenarios where he can be successful. Those things are going to be so clear and so evident that K-Jack is going to be a guy that is going to be not only someone that has the NFL frame, but also has the NFL play on the field. You look at him when he gets off the bus. He's one of those guys who wanted your team. I mean, if you get off the bus, someone like the all-bus team or guys who get off the bus, you know that they're going to be dogs. If you have K-Jack get off first and just that 6'5", 260, 265 frame with the length, with the size, with the strength that he possesses, with the mass, you're like, oh, my gosh, this dude is going to destroy us this year in the game. That's what you think about when you see him get off the bus. But then when you accompany him with a James Smith, a Beau Atkinson, a Will Smith Jr., a Jason Moore, some of these other guys, a Corey Wilder, you accompany him with some of these other guys that are getting off the bus with him. You're like, oh, okay. Ohio State isn't just recruiting elite talent. They're developing the talent to be elite on the field, but also utilizing the weight room to make them yoked up. And that's one of the best parts about this team, especially with Kenyatta Jackson Jr., is this team is physically ready to play. I know a lot of you have been around with this show for years, for multiple years, and you know there were times in the summer myself and Jeff Hunt would come on this show and frequently make comments about the weight room and why Ohio State's players don't look physically fit and ready for battle, like players at Georgia, like players at Alabama, like some guys in the South. We're sitting here talking about Ohio State thinking they have the physical talent. They have the God-given ability to beat teams. However, physically, that's a different question. But now you look at Ohio State, Jeremiah Smith, got it. Chris Henry Jr., he's got it. Bo Jackson, he's got it. Look at the offensive linemen, they have it. Look at the guys on defense, they have it too. Everybody is completely bought in to the strength and conditioning and the nutrition at Ohio State. Now, also, that part of the team has also been re-engineered and retooled to make sure that we're not trying to engineer something new. We're trying to re-engineer. We're trying to retool the things we're already doing to fine-tune our processes so that they help everybody in the room in the way that they need to help them. And so Kenyatta Jackson Jr. to me should lead the team in sacks this year. A year ago, he was, I want to get the numbers up very, very quickly so I'm not misspeaking. He was tied for second on the team in sacks with 6.5, tied with Arval Reese. Arval Reese played off-ball linebacker and edge. He split time between both. So you're splitting time with a guy, you're tied with a guy who's not even playing on the edge consistently. He was second on the team in tackles for loss with 11. Here's a kicker to me. He was 10th on the team in tackles, total tackles, with 28. Now, Caden Curry led the team in sacks with 11, led the team in TFLs with 16.5, and he had the most tackles of anybody on the D-line last year with 66. Now, I'm not trying to say that Kenyatta Jackson Jr. has to match his production, but my goodness, if you have one guy with 66 and the other starting defensive end has 28, you will think there's a massive drop-off when K-Jack is more physically gifted for the football. He has more tools that'll help him at the next level more than Caden Curry. But Caden Curry has a motor. Caden Curry he's a literal Energizer bunny on the football field. He never stops moving. He just keeps going and going and going. Now, I don't know if Kenyatta Jackson Jr. is going to have that in his bag, but buddy, that should motivate him this year to play a whole lot better football. Now, numbers don't tell the entire picture, which is why I think Caden Curry's impact from last year is one we could talk about for 5 to 10 to 15 years, because you look at him, you're like, K-Jack's supposed to be the guy. But Caden Curry was a dog last year. And it wasn't because of the physical tools or the attributes that he has. It's literally just him never stopping. Now, film study is a big part of it. Practice is a big part of it. Health is a big part of it. But you put all those three things together, Caden Curry's motor never stopped. You're trying to get K-Jack to have a motor like that. If Kenyatta Jackson Jr. can build upon and use what happened in the spring game and use some of the things that happened a year ago as fuel, you can see K-Jack be the leader in tackles on the D-line, lead the team in TFLs, and lead the team in sacks. I'm not trying to say he needs to lead the team, the D-line in tackles. It would be great. Or that it needs to lead the team in TFLs. But if he leads the team in sacks and if he ups his production and it shows up in a bigger way in the box score, that means his presence is going to be felt on the field and that his presence will lead to more production and you will see him be a better player this year. He has a real opportunity to move up draft boards so that the 2027 draft, he is a first-round pick. That's what's on the table. He is going to get drafted. Probably if he just keeps playing like we think he can, he'll be a day 2 pick, round 2 or 3. There's a real scenario that if he takes the necessary steps and jumps up and plays out of his mind this year, that K-Jack can be a first-round pick in the 2027 NFL draft. NFL executives and coaches are going to love him just by looking at him. Both of you couple that with his production on the field, they're going to be compelled and maybe lean into more than they thought they were going to, lean into the fact that K-Jack is a guy that could be a force in the National Football League. There is a player on the offensive side of the ball who is a true freshman that might be planning on being a force this year. I think he is. His name is Chris Henry Jr., and he gave Buckeye fans a glimpse of what they can expect in the fall. We'll dive into Chris Henry Jr.'s debut in the shoe after the break. This is Locked on Buckeyes. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are here, where every possession matters, every matchup is magnified, and every game can swing a series. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers a great way to get in on the action. Here's what I like about it. You can bet just $5 and you get $250 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. The app makes it easy to follow the action with player stats, trends, and matchups all in one place. And during the playoffs, that extra insight really matters. When you're looking at stars, role players, and key moments. It just makes the entire playoff experience more engaging from start to finish. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. Once again, head to FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com. FanDuel, play your game. Thank you for making Locked On Buckeyes your first listen of the day, and for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. Get Locked On Buckeyes ad-free with the Everydayer Club. Plus, members-only Discord access and a whole lot more. You and your boys can join the fun at lockedonbuckeyes.supercast.com or tap the link in the show notes to learn more. Ohio State was very fortunate to have Brian Hartline for as long as they did, but also they're very fortunate that when Brian Hartline was entertaining different jobs, maybe linked to the Penn State opening or Cincinnati or Kentucky or now at USF, he didn't drop off his production or his ability to coach or develop or watch film. He kept on chugging along. He kept on grinding, and you saw not only was the receiving room as a whole strong, recruiting was at an all-time high, but also he had player after player after player get drafted in the first round of the NFL draft. Well, when Brian Hartline left, he thanked or said that Chris Henry Jr. made the right decision by sticking with his original commitment to be a Buckeye. Hartline leaves. More teams like LSU are striving to go after Henry Jr. and pull him from Ohio State, flip him during the early signing period. Henry Jr. said, no, I'm sticking with the Buckeyes. This is where I'm going to play the football. It's in large part because Brian Hartline sold him on the program, the Buckeyes, what it means to be a Buckeye, the long history of Ohio State receivers. And Chris Henry Jr. says, this is the place for me. Well, that's the place for him. A lot of Ohio State fans were eager to see the debut of Henry Jr. in the shoe on Saturday in the spring game. Now, like I mentioned on, I think it was Friday's show, it's not a true debut as far as it being a meaningful game, a game that is going to show up in the win-loss record of the Buckeyes. However, it's his first time in Ohio Stadium in front of 40,000 fans playing the football. And so when you think about that context, this is a really big deal. And what Ohio State fans got from Chris Henry Jr. was just a glimpse, a snapshot of what he could do in the fall. Now, it wasn't perfect. He could build upon certain things that happened in the game, but 3 catches, 91 yards at 1.1 touchdown. I don't know his final stat totals. I just remember that flashing on the screen during the spring game. And those catches that he made, the one, I think all 3 were actually on the left sideline, going from his right to his left, catching balls from Tavian St. Clair. When you saw his route running, his separation, his ability to win at the point of attack and to high point the ball and make sure that it's either him getting the ball or nobody else, a lot of you are like, oh, we clapping it up. We know it's a practice. We know it don't mean nothing, but we're going to clap it up because we like what we see. And when we like what we see, we want more of it. We want more and more and more. You know how it is. You go to the restaurant and they say it's all you could eat on certain things, but not everything. But you're like, man, I'm a little hungry, but I don't know, man. This food is a little bit different to me. I don't want to try everything. And the next thing you know, you get your food. You don't get the all you can eat. Yours portion was a part of that part of the menu, but you said, no, I want a certain portion. I don't want to spend a little bit more and get the all you can eat. You get one bite. You're like, oh, buddy, man, I want more of that. And then you're thinking, I didn't sign up for the all you can eat. I signed up for the normal dinner portion because I was unsure if I could eat more, if I really wanted more of this. But after you got your little taste of it, you said, oh, buddy, I want more of that. And I guarantee you, some of you Ohio State fans were thinking, man, I want more of that because what you saw was special. I know it's a practice. I know it's the end of spring ball. Yes, there are a lot of things that go into that day being special for a lot of people, not just the players and the coaches, for a lot of people. That was a very special day. But when you think about who he's getting the ball from, and Tavian St. Clair, who's a very talented passer, we'll talk more about him once again, probably later this week and throughout the summer, because he deserves to get a lot of attention for what he has done so far and the type of quarterback he can be in the future. Imagine if he was catching those passes from Julian Sayin and he was on the field at the same time as Jeremiah Smith. Think about the hype And think about what it would mean for that day, for that pass, if it was staying on the ball. Same scenario, but instead of going against the twos, he's going against the ones. You think that hype is moving pretty quickly now and the bandwagons are getting pretty full. You need a second wagon to come on over to take on more people that are trying to hop on the Chris Henry bandwagon. If that's the case, if it's saying throwing that ball, you're going to need about 4 more bandwagons because everybody and their mama is going to flock to hype up the true freshman receiver. I like what we saw, but it was just a flash right before our very eyes of what can happen in the fall. I say a flash because just like at the restaurant, I could get this for a dinner portion or the all you can eat. And I actually was I was at a softball game last Tuesday, covered a softball game between two rivals, and there was a rain delay. Weather delay. That's the word I was looking for. There was a weather delay. There was some hail. There was some lightning, and so the original start time of the game was pushed back about 45 minutes to an hour. I forget the exact time it started, but roughly 45 minutes to an hour of a delay between the original start time and the first pitch of the game. Well, after the game, there was also a track meet happening at the same school, which was also delayed. The softball game gets over and I believe it went the full 7 innings. And then I walk across, I leave the stadium, talk to the coach and the players, go through a building, had a little covering on it. And I walk over. I see that there's a track meet going on. I'm like, okay, cool. What event is it? Oh, it's the 4x4. It's almost over. I walk a little bit further, walk up the track, and I see a group of people huddled around. And as they're huddled around, I walked over before during the delay. I saw this is the high jump area, the pole vault area, and my guess is shot put and discus were somewhere in the vicinity. I don't know where they were, but somewhere in the vicinity. There's one guy about to jump. The man running the high jump area had a clipboard, and there was a final jump of the night. There was some spectators lined up along the side on the paved road watching the young man about to jump. I don't know if it was a record he was trying to get, but he was trying to get the last jump of the night. So I pulled out my phone, and I was trying to record the video of the jump. I have an iPhone 17 Pro, just got it. I didn't know when I turned it on, pulled up video, that as soon as I hit record, the flash would pop up. And so when that flash popped up, I said, oh no, I don't want a flash. I pulled it down. I got out of the screen, went back to the video screen, and turned off the flash because I don't want to be a spectator that's trying to shine, that accidentally shines something that could disrupt the competitor, disrupt the guy about to do his final jump of the night. Unfortunately, the jumper didn't get the high jump. He hit the bar, was a fault. So that is unfortunate for him. But that flash there in the camera, when I was trying to record a video of the young man getting a jump on the high jump, last one of the night, I'm like, man, I don't want this. I don't want this at all. But it quickly got my attention, and I had to make some changes and some tweaks before getting the camera the way that I needed it to be to record the video. Same thing with Chris Henry. Chris Henry has some good moments in the spring game, and he flashed. There were also moments where he needed to tweak some things. Think about the 2nd and 9 pass. Tavis St. Clair's rolling up to it, drops back, rolls out to his right to get away and dodge the rush coming in very quickly. He throws the ball, and it was a pretty good coverage as far as Chris Henry comes in. He finds a soft spot of the zone. He settles down. He goes down to where the ball is. It's a lower thrown ball, and it's thrown to where only Chris Henry can catch the ball. It hit both his hands, and he dropped it. So while those long passes are great and they got all of our attention, the one thing that gets my attention even more, or just as much, isn't a flash play where he makes a big catch. It's a moment where he drops a ball that hit both of his hands, where he should have secured that thing and kept on and moved the chains. No, 2nd and 9 was turned into 3rd and 9 because a true freshman receiver dropped the ball in a gotta have it moment. He flashed, yes, but let's remember, my guy isn't a finished product. You know who else isn't a finished product? a man that transferred from the school in Chapel Hill in Beau Atkinson. He did big things in North Carolina. He is expected to do big things this year at Ohio State. And what he did during spring ball is a portion of the offseason that he can build upon so he can be a force for the Buckeyes in the fall. We'll dive into all of that after the break. This is Locked on Buckeyes. Thank you for making Locked on Buckeyes your first listen of the day, and for making Locked on the #1 sports podcast network. As always, we will continue to filter in more basketball conversations about the portal and Jake Diebler and different news and notes that are coming up about the basketball program throughout the week. Myself and Spencer McLaughlin are expected to do a crossover, more of a smaller bonus episode sometime this week. Spencer and I talk. We don't know when he wants to record, but when he wants to, we'll get together and you will hear that portion. Basically, it's a reaction to the spring game. My thoughts, his thoughts, in a shortened version show right here for you. And we have a special, longer version show on Thursday for the draft. Ryan Roberts and myself, my favorite NFL draft analyst from A to Z Sports, him and I have already recorded Thursday's show. It's a two-parter. Now, the second part might be a little bit longer than your average bonus show, but you're going to get a breakdown of every player that can be drafted. And then also some look ahead to the 2027 draft and just some quick questions I asked Ryan as him and I closed up that show. Different show than normal, but I guarantee you're going to like what you hear for the daily show and a bonus show coming up. Well, all that's going to hit you before the start of the 2026 NFL draft. Speaking of a draft, and speaking of things that are to come, Beau Atkinson, his final year playing football is to come, and he is striving to build upon the play and development he had in the spring. And think about Beau Atkinson. I was listening to a show recently, and I kind of echoed the thought this other host had about Beau Atkinson, thinking he has to step up. He doesn't have the bend, doesn't have the flexibility, doesn't have the mobility that some of the other guys off the edge have, either some older guys or some guys that are coming in. And so he doesn't have those things. He's kind of a little bit stiff, doesn't really have the production you would like when he's out on the field. And so when you think about Beau Atkinson, from what you saw last year, you're thinking, man, he has to get better. He has to get better. Just be more aware. Yeah, you got to work on the tools, get your bag a little bit deeper, get a little bit sharper and fine-tuned. However, you also have to get better and grow every time you're on the football field. And it was very, very clear in the spring game. Beau Atkinson got better. He kept working. He kept grinding. He was working with Larry Johnson, working with some of the assistant D-line coaches to make sure that this year for him is his best football season yet. And he is working to get drafted too, to move up draft boards. I don't believe Beau Atkinson will be a first-round pick. I don't even see him starting this year. However, he could play himself into being a day 3 pick and potentially being a guy that is on the week 1 roster in the NFL in the 2027 season. Well, we can look ahead that far. He can't. What he must do right now is build upon his performance in the spring game, but more importantly, during the 15 spring practices. He has some ups. He has some downs, but he must continue to build upon those moments, because if he does just that, if he continues to build upon those moments, become more flexible, become more agile, have more bend, do all the things you need from a guy off the edge, he's going to be a force for the Buckeyes this year. And no one's going to look at him and think, well, can he be an elite pass rusher? I mean, it's possible. I don't see it happening right now. It's possible. You got Quay Russaw. I think Quay Russaw, who didn't play with the ones, if he did, was very in spot duty. I think Quay Russaw and Kenyatta Jackson Jr. are going to be a problem in the fall. I don't see Beau Atkinson starting. I think what Ryan did with the starters in the spring game, something I've been thinking about for quite a long time, was very, very smart. You used Jacoby Jackson as your starting running back. It could have been Favorite Arquette to really be that kind of coach and say, oh, I'm not going to give you any kind of look. Jacoby Jackson is going to probably be RB3, depending on how they utilize Legend Bay. Legend Bay could be RB3, but I think in short yardage situations, that might be a Jacoby Jackson thing. Not saying he's a big bruising back, but he knows how to work in tight spaces. Also, didn't work with one of your starting receivers. Chris Henry was working with the 2s, not the 1s. You were missing multiple starting offensive linemen. That's not a good thing for you. On defense, you have Jermaine in the nickel corner spot, not outside. I know Earl Little was hurt, but you could have still had Jermaine on the outside instead of the inside. Also, you had Quay Russaw on the back end with the twos, Beau Atkinson with the ones, Wilson Jr. with the. I'm like, I understand what he's doing, but part of me believes this is a gamesmanship because he knows he plays Texas week 2. And he knows that if he gives Texas a little bit too much data, too much film to look at, they're going to chew it up, spit it out, chew it up, spit out again, and just trying to watch the film over and over to try to glean as much as they can so that when it's time to play Ohio State, they know how they might move. They have a better handle on what to do, what not to do. They think they have it all figured out. Well, Ohio State needs Beau Atkinson to play better this year to build upon the spring. If you look at any Ohio State team under Ryan Day, you're not going to play your starters and forget everybody else that's behind them in the edge position. You're not going to. You're probably going to play 3 or 4 guys in a rotation. If it's Kenyatta Jackson Jr., Beau Atkinson, Zion Grady, and Quay Russaw, you might feel good about that. Ebby Cianelli, if he finds a way to get into that foursome, you probably feel pretty good about that. If there is Carter Wilder, if he finds a way to get in there, I don't think he's going to jump Epi, but if he finds a way to get in the rotation, you might not feel as confident because he's a true freshman, but you might find a way that he plays like Zion Grady did last year, where you're playing a little bit, not playing in meaningful moments, but we can rely on you to get the job done. Beau Atkinson's going to play. And he must look at the challenge that Ryan Day and Larry Johnson and Patricia are throwing his way every single day and say, they're challenging me. This is what a coach is going to do. They're going to challenge you. They're going to push you. They might poke you to be the best you can be. In Beau Atkinson won't get better if he's not challenged, if he's not pushed, if he is not being talked to about some of the errors that he made on the field. That's the way for him to get better. So being coachable is great. You know what's better? Knowing things in and of yourself that are already messed up, that you did wrong, and saying, I know what I got to do to fix this issue. This entire show was mapped out with just 3 players, and I don't know if we're going to have this format moving forward. However, I enjoy just breakdowns of players in a segment-by-segment format because every player's story is different. Kenyatta Jackson Jr. can wear the Block O jersey. I know he switched his number to number 2. He can still wear the Block O jersey. Chris Henry just got on campus. Not going to be a Block O recipient or even a candidate to wear the Block O jersey right now. However, when your dad played in the NFL, it's unfortunate his father is no longer with us. You are, I don't know if he's mentored or Pac-Man Jones is his guardian. I don't know. But you have another NFL player, former NFL player in your ear every day, helping you become a man. And you flash like this in the spring game, that's going to get a lot of people talking. Keep your head down, young man. Keep grinding. And then Beau Atkinson, a guy who I was a little bit, I won't say high on. I liked some of the things that he did in North Carolina, and I thought some of them could translate to his play at Ohio State. Well, now we're seeing year 2 in Columbus. You understand Ryan Day. You understand Patricia. You understand what they're going to ask of you, and all you have to do is your job. The show is fun. We'll do more shows like this. Who are some players you want to hear some reactions to from what they did in the spring game? Let me know in the video, in the comments on this video, because I'm very curious your thoughts about maybe Julian Sand, or maybe you want to hear more about Tavian St. Clair, or maybe you want to hear some about fill-in-the-blank player on defense. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts about these 3 players and players you would like to hear conversations about on this show in regards to what they did in the spring game and what they might do in the fall. Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Buckeyes. Make sure you subscribe and follow Locked On Buckeyes so you get all the latest episodes. If you never miss an episode, the Everyday Club is built for you. Get Locked On Buckeyes ad-free, plus members-only Discord access and more. Head to lockedonbuckeyes.supercast.com to join the club. For those of you on video, we send you to the first ever 24/7 national Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel. On audio, make sure you make your second listen Locked On College Basketball. You can follow me on any social media platform at jstevens07. Send every email to jstevens317@gmail.com. This has been Locked on Buckeyes on a Tuesday. We'll see you next time.